Hi everyone, thanks for coming back for part 3. There's some other really interesting things that I noticed about the books in the Bible and how this is laid out that I forgot to mention. And it's interesting over here, like I said earlier, you have 17 books ending with the book of Esther, which represents the bride. And then the next book is the book of Job. And in one of Rhodey 61169 videos, he had stated that the book of Job represents the tribulation because it has 42 chapters, and obviously it was about suffering. So this would be a representation of the tribulation. So it's interesting that right after the 17th book, which represents the bride, you have a book that represents the tribulation. It has 42 chapters, and then again you see the number 17 right here, and then you have the next 5 chapters ending with 22, which again represents the marriage supper of the Lamb. And so you have the number 117 over here, which Psalm 117 correlates with year 17, and then the next set of 17 would end with the book of Malachi, and then this one has 55 verses in it, and 5 is the number of grace, so I don't know if that's indicating the end of grace over there. And then over here you have the next 5 books, which are the 4 Gospels and the book of Acts, which represent the church age according to Pastor Sandy Armstrong, and he had totaled these up to 117. And it's interesting how it begins with what looks like the number 17 again, both frontwards and backwards over here, and then ending again with what looks like the number 17. And it also begins and ends with 28, so I'm not sure what that means, but that's really interesting how these numbers come up with the books of the Bible. And so I want to go over a few more tables, and I haven't saved these tables, I just pulled them up earlier, so I'm just going to go backwards and just try to retrace my steps and what I did, and I'm just going to try to go over them that way because, like I said, I haven't saved them or anything. But this is the 5th match, and this one is coming up in the book of Philippians. And you see over here Jesus, over here it says, in the name of Jesus every knee should bow. You have the word tree going through the name Jesus, and then you have bride over here in the lavender, and it's saying over here that ye may become blameless, right there going through the letter B in bride. And then you have the word fig over here in the red with the letters F-I-G, and over here you have the word groom. So again, the word fig is going through the word groom in the blue with the letters G-R-O-O-M, and this is coming up over here in verse 15. It says, and that ye may become blameless and harmless, children of God, without blemish, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you are seen as lights in the world. This is where the word bride was coming up. Over here it says that ye may become blameless and harmless, children of God, without blemish, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom ye are seen as lights. So that's where you have the word bride. And then after that it says, lights in the world, holding forth the word of life, which is Jesus, that I may have whereof to glory in the day of Christ, that I did not run in vain, neither labor in vain. And this is where you have the word groom. So you see the word groom right here, starting with the word lights in the world, holding forth the word of life, that I may have whereof to glory in the day of Christ. So that's where you have the word groom. And going right through the word groom, you have the word fig. And so the match before that, this is match 4. And the word fig is coming up over here. This is coming up in the book of John, chapter 3. Okay, so this would be just after John 3:16 and John 3:17, which most people are familiar with, so I'm not going to pull that up. But over here you have the word tree in the pink. Over here you have the word Jesus. And then the word fig is coming up where it's talking about purifying. You see the word purifying over here. And this is where you have the word fig coming up. And then you have bride over here, and over here you have bridegroom. And so I'll just read this real quick. It says, and this is the judgment, that the light is come into the world, and men loved the darkness rather than the light, for their works were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, and cometh not to the light, lest his works should be reproved. But he that doeth the truth cometh to the light, that his works may be manifest, that they have been wrought in God. And after these things came Jesus and his disciples into the land of Judea, and there he tarried with them and baptized. And John also was baptizing in Enon, near to Salim, because there was much water there. And they came and were baptized. For John was not yet cast into prison. There arose therefore questioning on the part of John's disciples with the Jew about purifying. And this is where you have the word fig. And they came unto John and said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with thee beyond the Jordan, to whom thou hast borne witness, behold, the same baptizeth, and all men come to him. John answered and said, A man can receive nothing except it have been given him from heaven. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said, I am not the Christ, but that I am sent before him. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the he that hath the bride is the bridegroom. But the friend of the bridegroom that standeth and heareth him rejoice greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This my joy there is made full. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the previous match, which would be the third match out of 6. And in this one, this also comes up in the same chapter. So I'll just go to the one before that. And in this one, this is coming up in Luke chapter 5. And over here you have the word tree. You have the word Jesus over here. And then again, the word fig is going through the word bride as well as the word bridegroom. Okay, and so I'm not sure if I need to read this chapter, so I'll just go to the one before that. But again, you can see it's talking about the bride chamber over here. It says, can the children, Jesus saith, can ye make the sons of the bridegroom or the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them. Then will they fast in those days. So this is where the words bride and bridegroom are coming up. And the word fig is going right through the word bride as well as bridegroom. And so I'll go to the one before that, which would be the first match. And in this one, you had Jesus over here. Here you have the bride chamber and the bridegroom. And so this again, this one is coming up in Mark 2, but it's talking about the same thing. It's talking about the days when the bridegroom will be taken away. And in this one, you have the word fig coming up over here. And what was interesting about this one is that it's talking about new wine. And the word fig is going through the words new wine twice. So you have new wine, and fig is going through both of those. So again, that seems to confirm that the fig tree represents the bridegroom, which is Jesus. Okay, this one I had put in fig tree, bridegroom, and Yeshu, which is short for Yeshua. And you see Yeshu is coming up here in this bright blue color over here. Actually, I think it spells out Yeshua. I think I've done this table before. Okay, it does. It spells out the word Yeshua. So it has a full word Yeshua over here. And right under the word Yeshua, you have the word groom. And Yeshua is coming up right where it says, then would I fly away and be at rest. Then would I wander far off. I would lodge in the wilderness. Selah. And this is where you have Yeshua. And then you have groom over here, right under the word Yeshua. And then you have bride over here in the lavender. And then you have the word fig right in between those two in the red, the letters F-I-G. And this was coming up in Psalms, the book of Psalms 55. And again, it's ending with verse 17. And in this one, I just put in fig tree and bridegroom. And in this one, you see the word tree up here. It's interesting that it says Jehovah Israel is my son, my firstborn. It's going through the word tree over here. But then you have bridegroom over here. And again, going through the word bridegroom, you have the word fig. And this was coming up in Exodus 4. Okay, and I had done some tables on the word August before, but I really can't remember what I did last year with the word August. But this is something I just tried. Well, first I tried August bride, and I'll show you that in a minute. But then I tried August rapture, and it comes up with 4 matches. But it's interesting that once again, it's ending in verse 17. But over here, you have the word August right here in the red. And then you have the first part of the word rapture up here. The second part is going through the word August over here. And this is coming up in Genesis 50, which I'm not sure if that's an indication of Pentecost or Shavuot. But over here it says, and there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan. And I remember doing this before, and it was coming up with the word threshing floor several times, and it was talking about mourning for 7 days. And then again, it was talking about mourning. And I think it had the threshing floor again. It says mourning in the floor of Atad. So that's talking about the threshing floor once again. And then it says, and Joseph returned into Egypt. And of course, Joseph is a type of Christ. So that's coming up here in verse 14. And this goes through to verse 17. Okay, and this one I have August, bride, lion, Leo, and star, and all these came up. You see the word bride over here coming up in the pink at an angle, and going right through the word bride, it says, thou shalt go before the face of the Lord. It's going through the letter B in bride. You see the word Leo up here in the lavender. You see star in the blue, and then you see lion down here in the lavender. And this is coming up in Luke 1:7-5 through Luke 2:7. And I've talked about how the number 27 represents the coming of Christ, but it's also talking about the dayspring from on high shall visit us. And I'm out of time, so thanks for watching, and God bless you.